Hello, I am Adam Morgan, and I'm going to be giving a demonstration today on how to turbocharge your chat session. That could be Copilot, could be on-prem, could be Grok, doesn't matter. These tools are all platform agnostic, so everything you see here will work on any platform, and I'll give you a short demonstration of that towards the end. So I'm going to do a demonstration kind of backwards. I'm actually going to give the demo and then talk through it. So I've got a prompt staged. I'm in Copilot Studio. The reason for that is it allows you to see what happens underneath the hood. So when this were to publish to either a Copilot channel or even publishing it on a website, the user would see everything on the right side. So that's going to be the only difference once it's published. So this prompt, I'm asking it to generate an email. And I asked it to assemble data from three wildly different areas. And none of these are going to be part of the M365 index. These two are actually from on-prem data sources, which we'll talk about in a minute. And this is actually from a Fabric data source. And then I want to send the email to my manager and copy to my direct reports and blind copy me, and with a very specific subject, because pew 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 makes everything fun. So with that, let's kick it off. And you're going to start to see a flurry of activity on the left side, and we'll talk more about this in a minute. But you're going to see something called tools, which are going to loosely line up with pretty much everything that you see here. There's a steps, there's a movie review, there's a taxi data query, there's some graph calls, and then what comes out at the end of that is an email. So you can see right here that it has, in fact, generated the email. It did a lookup, found my manager, copied my direct reports, blind copied me, and there's all the information that I asked for. So what are we looking at here? What's going on? So this is something called MCP, Model Context Protocol, and how this works is I've referenced two MCP servers. One is more corporate functions that I've written here, and these are being hosted in a container app, but could be hosted anywhere. The other server is actually hosted on-prem. So you'll see some of the tools that we saw that were used by the large language model to satisfy the query. So what happens is when we send it the prompt, we've told it that these tools are available. And it doesn't matter if they're all on one MCP server or they're spread across. Once it knows where they're at, it can mix and match and even call the same tool many times. It'll do whatever it thinks it needs to do to satisfy the prompt, which is why you saw that all those tools being generated. So when the prompt happens, the large language model looks to the description of the tool to see if a tool can be used to satisfy the prompt. And it also does some really powerful analysis to see what are the inputs that each tool requires and what are the outputs. So it's not uncommon for a tool to require an input. So in this case, you notice that I said yesterday. So let me go over to the other tool. And these are my personal tools that I've written on on-prem MCP server. And you'll notice that I've got... you can specify days. But when you do that, the large language model is smart enough to know that if I told it yesterday, that it can then translate that into the day that the tool expects. Again, that's part of the power of AI, is being able to do all that for you. So I did not code any of that logic. That is the large language model's logic. So again, it went tool shopping to satisfy that prompt. And let me show you some other cool things that it kind of give you an idea as to how this can be built to add more tools. So you'll notice that I've already used the send mail, but I've also got upload to SharePoint. So let's see. Last movie that I... So I've actually told it to go out and get some data. I could have, again, asked it for a whole bunch of data. It would have gone and got out all that data, as we're seeing it do here on the left side. So it's going to assemble all the data that it needs. And then the last step in this is to upload to SharePoint. So if we walk over here, it should be live demos. So I didn't see the file there for some reason, so let's ask it for it again. And notice that it still has your previous conversation in memory. Oh, there we go. Okay. And there it is. So again, I could have asked that. I could have, for example, queried the. So underneath, let me take a step back. Underneath the covers, I had asked it to for a question about the longest taxi ride, and what that did is actually converted that language to SQL underneath the covers and queried a relational database. So in this case, it's actually the New York City taxi database, which is in a fabric table, and it did return this value. So that's really cool, a really cool kind of advanced topic there. So I can create a tool to do anything, but this specific tool was really cool because it took that natural language, converted it to SQL, and returned and did actually applied that SQL against the database and returns the answer. So I could have, if I wanted just a down and dirty report, I could have asked it for, the last trips longer than 20 miles. I could have told it to put that into a spreadsheet and emailed it or saved it to SharePoint or to OneDrive. So that's really the power of being able to assemble all these tools and let the LLM decide exactly what tools it needs to satisfy the prompt and in what order it will do so. Thank you very much for watching.